Dear Nasus from my last game. The one who literally announced that he would be gankably overextended. The one that wasn't satisfied with the counter gank he so pretentiously ordered. The one who then started spamming Quitter's quorum requests despite our team destroying early. Opting to treat his own summoner name like a phrase he got on a charades card. The one who responded to me giving his losing lane attention by running up further than freaking Forrest Gump to hand deliver himself back to base. The one who responded to my threats of publicizing his dog water antics by low ego explaining that no one would ever watch my gold gameplay. How's it feel? That despite you being the embodiment of what is wrong with this community, that despite you trying your very best to lose our LP over a personal grudge with someone you've never met before and will never see again, we still won the game, and that I held up my end of the promise to broadcast your little bitch behavior to my non-existent audience, and to that I just want to say, lick a tit you loser, sincerely, Rav. Alrighty, so the Bollywood Poontang Boomerang Banger just came out, and I'm almost certain that no one can sleep at night without a guide on how to Akshan Diff those normal blind lobbies where mirror mirror on the wall who's the greatest first time feeder on a new champ of them all is present. So here is Rav's guide to one-hit Akshan in a blind lobby. When you get a mirror matchup, and you just want to say Akshan Diff in chat at the end of the game like a toxic douche canoe, guide.
Time to soil yourselves.
Now the first thing you need to do is go into your client and spend 1350 RP on the Cyberpunk 2077. Wait, Riot, how do these talking points help you Akshan Diff? Alright, step 1, the highly contentious lock-in race. Get that powdered caffeine thumb straight up the asshole and prioritize champ hover before roll. You'll almost certainly lose the roll call, but this is where you get in a virtual visionless stare down with the guy who beat you. You are willing to concede and say you'll settle for top or some shit, but stay strong, stick to your guns, and voila baby, let's go.
Stand by lights. Stand by camera. Action.
Now listen closely, the first rule of the guide is that early failures and limit testing is what's going to make you bloody piss stain all over your mirror matchup late, so you push the boundaries early even though you probably have never played this champ and they likely have, making chances of the first encounter feel a bit like,
I can do anything better than you.
You know.
like no one ever got good at Fortnite by landing in bumshit Egypt every round and hiding all game, you feel? And now that you've got that out of the way, the dick diff of who wore it best begins as you head up tippy top for a little rabbit wolf revenge via swingaling before hurrying over to make sure Spetty Freddy Stepbro doesn't survive the stone tower ambush against your top lane Obama. Then totally up to you, but I would stay north for a bit because there may be a little Easter enthusiast ass hat and a rabbit costume, and you know what's in your basket? More gold baby, hashtag worth it, because our contest isn't with those sluts, it's with Scoundrel Slayer numero 2, the imposter who we need to slut shame later. And side note, you want to put your name at the top on every single objective whether you are needed or not. Who cares if Fiddle and Lucian wrote the whole group project paper? Your name gets listed first as the author because it all will be tallied up at the end when you make the case that Akshan Diff is a compliment to you and an insult to the other washed up wannabe, you feel me? Then since you are already up top with the kidnapped battle beetle, you might as well stay and murder some happy hoppy holiday hoe with a Tarzan tug off tower that shitter will never see it coming, which brings me to my next tip. This bush sus. So have someone shine a light in it, or if you play with Queen 200 years she can shine the entire fucking sun there, which if you do it right you'll catch Taylor Lautner in there doing sit-ups, so murder his ass before too many girls see those abs thinking they are real, not photoshopped and heavily edited, while simultaneously looking down on you as a mere mortal middle school boy with a sub-average non-movie made-up genetics, totally not projecting before it's time for the first rematch against your proverbial Gary Oak. And if you followed this guide so far he will get that bonk. And at this point you've acquired some Johnny Knoxville level wealth, so you can probably guess what the next step in the guide will be.
Bitch.
Damn right, that's straight out of the Patient Persian playbook. Credit to the horny haybag for best supporting actress. But then back to business. You see your nemesis approach once again, so you chunk that devilishly handsome Doppler ganger until Jim Crow is like, "K, time for bed," but you are thinking a tier 2 tower isn't going to stand in between you and what needs to happen. Moving on, it's imperative to note a few things before I explain my very calculated behavior in this next play. It's now past the 15-minute mark in the game, and considering the average mental stability of a league player is that of an unborn seal with poison ivy, so if you go down there and just genocide their entire bot lane race, it may be a fat F, as in 2 Fs like FF, and this is blind normal. You don't care about winning, you care about being the better Akshan in a long frustrating 40-minute game, so you make both them bitches taste a bit of your piss, then swing shitter your way into Miss Bladesville. You kill one to send a message and then slingshot your way straight into a prison. It's called culling the herd but not eliminating it, so that there's still game to hunt later. Actually, in hindsight, my Leona was already on top of things on that front, so I probably could have just 1v Wednesdayed that instead, but it's fine because this brings me to my next tip: motivating morons to get you fed. You need to understand how to command a feeding Leona, so take note.
Hey Leo, what happens to dumb bitches who don't wear sunscreen?
They will be sundered.
Well, the punchline was actually supposed to be something about getting sunburnt, but moral of the story was a little rope ride to smack that ash, and feeding Leo is now an asset to you. Now, you may have heard of my good pal Pablo Picasso before, and he once said, "Good Akshan's copy, great Akshan's steal," which is precisely why my unneeded piss pellets entered the scene at first, and then I myself came in hotter than a pocket to request that my brother from Bollywood acknowledge who the great Akshan here is, and out of respect for Pablo I stole Scuttle too. A ram time, so listen carefully. The Assassin's Creed icon will give you a cloak of invisibility conditional on you dry humping a wall, so that is exactly what you are going to do, because while the early bird gets the worm, the patient Persian gets that ash tied up with a bow and a diamond. You may get thrown in prison for murder, but I promise you'll be released, and then once Rabbit Randy fucks up the ending to his scary story, you must capitalize on his insecurities, but it's all about timing, because for this to work, at precisely 21:13, you make a sharp left and he'll be looking both dumb and dead. Okay, then we are back. Assassin's Creed creative mode activated. Piss is emitting from your body to signal that World War III is going on in river, but it's imperative that you wait for the bofa to make your move. Then when bofa is activated, you go.
What's bofa?
Bofa these nuts on your face. Omega lol, get absolutely destroyed, kids. It's also important to remember the end goal here, to be the best Akshan on the Rift, and I don't see more than one fucking Lucian in this game, so that blue buff is yours.
But Rav, that's toxic.
Shut up me, this is where champions are made. You have the items to fulfill your fate. Your team is dumb, let them be bait. You just have to arrive fashionably late, then you Indiana Jones spank an ash and finish off the wolf to end your double death date. And call me old fashioned, but I was raised to thank others who bring you back to life, but hey, that's just me. Now if you have followed the steps so far, elder drag should be a breeze. Take out the sexy blonde first, because you can't have hormones jerking off your decision making skills, and the proverbial rubbing of one out via homicide will keep you clear minded for the cleanup crew kill clappy slappy slaughter that will ensue. And while your teammates may not verbally be appreciative for you performing an act so spectacular, an entire religion is based off of it, they will lend you a cute sunny backdrop to pose in front of with that dead ash bitch corpse who thought she could ice arrow you and win. It is now time. The epic rematch of a century. You've trained for this for like 30 minutes, the flashbacks of that traumatic event fueling your fire. It will be decided. Get yo Bollywood bitch ass spanked, and then because you are King Chad Akshan Diff, you can 1v5 montage the rest of this fight as icing. So there you have it, the ultimate guide to being able to out Diff the dick on the Rift who wanted to steal your identity, leaving just one final thing left to do. All these dumbasses insist on hanging outside on the patios, but a few bumps and bruises and a fucked up leg wouldn't deter Betty. She's diabetic as shit anyway, so that leg only had a few more years in it. And in that, boys and girls, is how it's done. Until she realized her baguette fell out of the cart, so life really wasn't worth living anymore.
With Rabby boy, I'm in your crib with the blappy boy. Talk to me slick and I'm popping your pappy. If happy talk back, then I'm taking your Grammy, and boy oh boy, I'll make her happy.